Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Brighton podcast, brought to you by the Global Sports Podcast Network in partnership with Zencastr. Boys, we are back. It has been quite a long time and we all have very valid reasons for why we were away. I mean, I broke my leg on a ski trip and haven't been able to recover. Bless was doing God's work in Zambia again, and Joe was recruiting the finest podcasting talent out there. And he's found one to join the team, and that is the man joining us on this podcast right now. Charley, your first show. How are we, mate?
Oh, that's a great intro. I feel like I don't know what talent Joe was looking at as well, but I'll take that. I'm classed as quality podcasting talent. But no, I'm glad to be here.
Good to have you. Joe, Bless, how are we feeling? It's been a long time away.
Yeah, it's just good to be back, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we've let people down, but obviously God's work in Zambia needs to be done. You can't really do much about breaking your leg on a ski trip, and
No.
It sounds like I was the only one that was actually working still. So,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Fair point.
that's calm, mate. That sounds decent. So,
Commitment
it's
to
good
Brighton's
to
Daily
be.
Brighton podcast.
It's good to be back, mate. Honestly.
Well, it's good to be back, but under quite saddening and heartbreaking circumstances. Sorry to bring the mood down immediately, guys, but we have been knocked out the FA Cup. The fairytale is over. Wembley is no more. And our actual hopes of winning a trophy look all but dusted, or are dusted, actually. Is the Premier League still possible? Who knows? But, yeah, I don't think, mathematically, it's out, but probably all but dusted. Charley, you were at the game. What was the atmosphere like at the final whistle?
It was just heartbreaking. It was just the mood. The whole game, actually, the atmosphere was it was amazing. Yeah, everyone was up for it. The fans were up for it. The players, to some extent, I want to say, were up for it. But yeah, it was just demoralising. I was there at Wembley 2 years ago when we lost on pens, and that was heartbreaking. But I kind of came to the realisation that I don't actually like Wembley anyway. It's not. Why would you want to go?
Yeah,
It's pretty overrated, and the food's
really
rubbish
overrated.
as well.
It's quite expensive. The travel's a nightmare. It's just not worth it. So they've probably done us a favour, but no, it was just a bit depressing, to be honest.
And to do it in such a boring game, to be honest, it was quite a snore draw. Bless, give me your thoughts on what you thought of the game when you were watching it, having to sit through 120 minutes of that.
Yeah, a tough watch. Like, both teams I wasn't really impressed with. We just seemed a bit toothless up front at times, and the quality, I'm not going to lie, the quality I felt was really poor from both teams. And it wasn't as entertaining as I thought it was going to be, especially like for us being at home, the fans being buzzing for it, the big boys out of it. So it seemed like the team that wins that quarter final and goes to semi will have a really good chance. But it wasn't to be, was it?
No, I mean, the FA Cup's overrated. Don't know how you feel about that, Joe, but I've said since the beginning, I definitely said I didn't really care about this trophy and we should throw all our subs and focus all on the league. I definitely said that if you go back to those Norwich podcasts.
I'm going to be so real, mate. I hate... this is a hate podcast. I hate Nottingham Forest with a burning passion, and I really hate Ryan Yates. I've always hated him, mate. I hate him even more now. So, this is just every single time Nottingham Forest. I mean, the 7-0, it gave us great content, but, it's not ideal losing 7-0, to be honest with you. And then, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, the FA Cup is such it's probably the most prestigious, isn't it? Obviously, like, I mean, the Premier League is obviously the top, but in terms of like history, the FA Cup is the one, isn't it? Really, in this country, so like obviously it would be. And like Bless said, having so many teams out of it, bar City. Like, I mean, is it? We said this the other day, Bless. Is it 4 out of the 8 teams haven't won haven't won a major
Yeah.
trophy before? Well, if you count the championship, then whatever. But so the chance was there, but I think it's just Nottingham Forest, isn't it, mate? Hard team to play, and terrible team to watch, but hard team to play. Yeah, here we are.
Apparently, our bogey team as well drew to them the first game through. I mean, I thought we actually should have won that game, and then a 7-0 battering. That wasn't ideal, and now this. I mean, can we stop playing them for the next couple of seasons? That'd be all right. Or hopefully one day we get vengeance and we can actually do a good podcast after playing Nottingham Forest. But yeah, I mean, Bless, you mentioned it and you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said it was just such a poor game and neither team, the quality was there with either team because I mean, ourselves, we gave away the ball so many times and we couldn't look to keep possession. There were so many passages of play that were just untidy. And there was no link-up play either. I don't know what it was like in the stadium. Was there frustration there, Charlie?
Yeah, I think particularly I want to say until probably there was, I think, one was 70 minutes, maybe 80 minutes. It was just nothing. And it was just like every sort of loose ball was being picked up. But again, we didn't feel like they were a threat going forward, coming at us either. Like they obviously had they had a lot more corners. They were a lot more, I think, more aggressive in their attacking. But again, there wasn't anything going forward. I think we stood our ground defensively probably quite well. I probably let's say our defence was probably all right this game. I thought we kind of tackled with their wingers a fair bit, but yeah, I think it wasn't like at half time. It was just a bit like hopefully
Yeah.
not another 45 minutes of this, and it kind of more or less was.
Yeah. Well, the only bright spot was like the beginning of the second half, and we'll go on to some of the key points and key talking points, which there were very few of in the game in the next segment. But yeah, that was the only real bright spark of the whole game, and the only bit of intensity in it was the start of the second half, where we actually looked like, oh yeah, Brighton are actually on the front foot, and the Rutter shot as well. That was like, oh, let's get some momentum going, and then it just died out after. I think it might have been after the penalty shout, to be fair. That's when it completely died out again. And then the only time we saw it pick up again was the second half of the extra time. And it was like, why are they performing in such patches? It was such like a inconsistent performance all round. And I feel like they couldn't deal with like the physicality and intensity that Forest were playing with. Bless, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think that both teams just didn't want to lose the game. We know when we've spoken about Forest so many times, and we know what they do in the counter attack. We know they want to sit back and soak pressure up, but even they didn't seem like they, really wanted to go and put their mark on the game, get control of it, and win it in the required time. And neither did we. I think we were, just a little bit lacking a little bit of quality up front, sort of sleepwalking into penalties, really, I think.
Yeah, 13 shots each total, 2 on target for us, 5 on target for them, and that's in 120 minutes of football. Well, we're going to be talking about some of those great highlight moments in this next segment after we listen to our ad by Bionic.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionic, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionic provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionic. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
And we are back with a daily Brighton podcast. Let's talk about some of these chances then. I feel like Diego Gomez was the one that, when he came on, all the big chances kind of fell to him. He had that one where Estepinian played him through and should have had it probably on the first time shot. Then he had another one with probably the closest one that he had was the header from a Gruder cross in the second half of extra time, and Sells makes actually a great save and tips it over the bar. But yeah, those were the only real chances, unless you count a Belieber shot from outside the box that were
You got to
actually.
count that. They got to count
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it was a great strike, to be fair. It was an unreal strike. Broke a poor bloke's camera.
Broke
The
like
ca-
a
the guy
$4,000
who-
camera, mate.
Yeah. He
Why
looked
is he not taking a pen?
devastated
Why
after
is he
his
not taking
camera
a
broke.
Should have been taking a pen then with that strike.
Yeah. Joe, so run me through some of those chances, or did you actually feel like we were ever going to score from those chances?
I don't know. I feel like it's just when those sort of chances are falling to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he scored a few in the MLS and that, but like it's not really ideal who it's falling to. Do you know what I mean? But I think when Bless said it earlier about the way that sort of Nottingham Forest normally play, where they're sort of sitting back and then they're looking to like sort of hit you on the counter. This is like the god level tier of this lineup that they've put. I've got it right here, and I didn't even clock because I just think in my head it's like they basically had the same lineup every game this season. Nottingham Forest. Danilo, he's a DM, right?
Mhm.
He's playing on the left. Ryan Yates, I don't know what he is. I can't even say what I think he is, but he was in the 10. Gibbs White on the right, and then Dominguez and Anderson. This is not hitting you on any counters, mate. There's no counters here to be hit. And then you just know exactly what's going to happen. Kalamazoo-Doi and Alanga are going to appear. And then that's sort of where, like, the chances are going to come from. But they've set up to not even, like Bless said, no, like they didn't want to lose. That's it. And also, I feel like those chances that you were speaking about, not only are they falling to someone like Gomez, but it's also in like, it's not the same as like just a league game. It's like the highest stakes where it's like you don't want to, and also because they're coming so rare, it's also even harder to sort of put those chances away. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's thinking, oh, I've got to be burying a couple of them, but like I can sort of understand, like it's in that situation and stuff like that. But yeah, the chances are afforded to you, mate. Got to put it in the net, lad. I've tried to make excuses for him here, but yeah.
You mentioned one thing that you did mention there was the Forest lineup, and that was actually something that really interested me when I first looked at the team sheet. So many midfielders, I was like, they're either just gonna sit back and defend and just say we're not gonna lose, and then play for penalties, which is what it ultimately was, or they like might keep possession and try and just out possession us, which is so un-Nottingham Forest based on everything we've seen this season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't believe that they benched Hudson-Odoi and Alanga, and they were playing Danilo, Elliot Anderson, Ryan Yates, Dominguez, and Gibbs White as like their output. Bless, what were your thoughts on their opening lineup? Did you think we could get out them because of it, or did you think it was going to be a 0-0 written all over it?
Well, I still wasn't really sure what to expect, to be honest, but it was clear the game plan, like Joe's alluded to as well, that they wanted just to stay in the game and then bang, 70th minute, 60th minute, double substitution, Hudson-Odoi and Alanga, and then maybe nick it 1-0. I think that's generally what Nuno's trying to do there. Bit of a smash and grab, just hold what you got for now, make the crowd sort of drown out by just being boring, and then nick it at the end 1-0. So it was strange to me. I wasn't particularly concerned because Iwane's not really he's not moving anyone at the moment. So when I saw Chris Woods out, I was pretty happy with that. I'm pretty confident Webster can handle Iwanoi, and then the wingers are out as well. So it was a strange one to see, but he's gone for a smash and grab, try and win it in the end, didn't he?
They've both come on at the same time as well.
Yeah.
They've literally double substitutions, 61st minute, Alanga and Hudson-Odoi at the same time, mate. He's seen enough from. Who did he take off? Dominguez. No, not even that. Who did he even bring on? Oh, he brought off Iwanoi and Danilo, and whacked on the two. So, not ideal, mate.
Also, that was the oddest pronunciation of Awonyi from Bless. He
What
just
did he
went
say?
Awonoi.
Illinois.
That's not
That's
it. Surely.
Illinois.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh, right. Well, I've been
is.
saying it wrong his entire life. Sorry, Awonyi.
I say
Awonoi.
Awonyi, where's the A?
I've said that with so much confidence. I'm actually not sure.
you basically sat me down and said, oh, I'm right. And I've gone, okay.
I would say Illinois, you know.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. I would not.
I've been saying, I want you.
No.
For time. But yeah. They actually, in fairness to Nottingham Forest, that plan that they had, so they came on, like you say, Joe, 60th minute. In the 70th and 73rd minute, I jotted it down, as I do with my notes. They did have two chances, basically coming from like a late run of Alanga. In behind the back line, they just they got threaded through, and Alanga tries nicking it past Verbruggen. It didn't come to any avail, but I was thinking that this could be a threat. Charley, what were you thinking when they did come on and thinking about their pace in behind the dearest of souls, Adam Webster? not the fastest of men.
Yeah, I must admit, I completely forgot about that chance until you just explained it. I can remember seeing that happen. I was like, oh, yeah, this is a goal. This is it. This is it now. Like Nottingham Forest that we've seen all season and now just turned up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I don't really know what they were doing. I don't know if, like, say, if they start the match, would they have probably buried that? Probably. I don't know if it was just so early on in the game where they've just come on and like didn't really sort of panic. But yeah, it was. I think it was slightly worrying, but then I didn't think after that it wasn't much from them.
No, genuinely.
They were very quiet after that. It was kind of like how we started the second half. It was like, okay, there's something can happen here, and then it just went back to the game we've just been watching.
Yeah.
And the midfield just running around, playing it around, losing it, and that's about it. And then back didn't move from that centre box really.
Yeah, genuinely. I don't think they had many chances. I think they had that one. They had a Awonyi in the first half, or Wanoi, sorry, whatever you want to call them, in the first half, who smashed it at Verbruggen. And then they had Gibbs White from miles out, and Verbruggen tips it over the bar. Those were literally the only chances I could remember them having. And I never felt, oh yeah, the commentators as well in the game were saying, oh, they've been much of the better side and they've looked a threat. They haven't at all. You're talking nonsense, quite frankly.
What game were they watching?
Waffle. Classic commentators and pundits talking waffle. Oh,
he's lost his head again.
Yeah, he's lost his head already. We've only been back. This is the first one back. His head's gone, mate.
18 minutes in.
They just waffle, don't they? They just waffle. But one thing we do have to cover before we finish off this segment is the penalty getting overturned. I think we're all pretty much in agreement of what a scandalous decision that almost was. Mitoma goes to ground, doesn't get anything. Bear in mind, why is he going to ground? That was risky in itself. And then bloody Elliot Anderson, that's assault. Steps on his arm, studs him. I want him to be a yellow card or maybe even red. Gets sent off. But nothing. Gets given against us. I'm livid about that. That's a joke. Joe, what are you thinking?
Mate, to be fair, the slide tackle, he's obviously just gone to block it, isn't he? But then he's nowhere near him anyway, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like, I know obviously you're saying about it's assault and that. I don't know. I don't know. I know he studs his arm and that, but I actually genuinely think that he's not even paying attention to that. He's just felt any sort of contact and he's just gone. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've already said about how like tense the sort of the atmosphere of the game is, like, not in terms of in the stadium, but like on the pitch in terms of you don't want to lose or whatever. So, mate, imagine we've all played football with Bless, right? Imagine that was Bless in that situation. Bless is going down like he's been shot, mate.
Oh, he did that twice on Wednesday. He even called for 2 of the challenges. That's a Bless classic, isn't it, Bless?
In my defence, like, the guy is absolutely booting my ankles out. And it doesn't look like he has. It looks like I've taken a bad touch.
That would be
the first time.
Oh, yeah, brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is the thing, is I don't even want to say it because, like, I know everyone's feeling towards VAR, but that is literally what it's for, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
because
thank
the
God.
referees are incompetent. That's why.
Yeah,
So
that little dweeb, Charlie, in the stadium. Were you chanting cheat and telling the ref to go somewhere?
I thought you were just calling me a little dweeb then.
I thought he called you a dweeb as well.
The ref, you little dweeb.
The what?
Sorry, should make that.
Welcome to the podcast, mate. You
That
little
little
dweeb.
dweeb Charlie.
I was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, I was at the other end of the pitch, and it didn't look like. Again, I mean, Mitoma was halfway down the other end by the time that slide. I was like, it just like completely missed, and yeah, it looked. We couldn't tell from the other end, but the quickness of the ref, the ref to go over to that monitor, just kind of said it all.
Yeah,
As soon as I think it was, I was within 30 seconds of him blowing him and going over to the monitor. Um, I mean, it did kind of make me laugh, which I didn't see at the time. Obviously, Brighton fan putting £10 notes in
Oh
front
yeah,
of
I
the
saw that.
£10 notes in front of near the TV. But I don't remember. The ref was probably thinking, "Oh, maybe I might just take that."
He's surely got to be having a little grab at some of them.
Yeah, but no,
Wasn't-
it never felt like it was a pen, and I think it felt like the Forest fans kind of. Obviously, they cheered when they got the call, but after that, I think they just I think they kind of thought and knew that they would, if they got this was jammy.
yeah,
But it was the right decision, and Joe, you summarised it. That is what VAR is there for. And you could, I think, that was probably a good use of VAR there,
yeah.
as a
I'll tell
positive.
you one
But
shameless man that did call for it and did cry when it was overturned, and that is that man Ryan Yates.
I told you,
Oh,
mate.
he was in the
He's a wild
refs
lad.
there. Absolutely shameless behaviour. In this next segment, we're going to be talking about the heartbreaking penalty shootout. We'll be nice and quick, hopefully. Do you have a story to tell that the world needs to hear? Have you struggled with reaching new audiences who are engaged with your story? It might be time for you to start a podcast. Let me tell you about a platform we use here at Global Sports Podcast Network. Zencastr makes it easy to start a high-quality podcast built for growth from day one. With 4K audio recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes ums, ahs, you knows, and 22 other speech patterns, Zencastr makes it easy to start a podcast that sounds great. Ready to tell your story? Check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. And we are back with a Daily Brighton podcast. Let's get to it. Who had any faith or optimism that we're actually going to win the penalty shootout?
It's just 50-50, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Do you
It
know what I
is.
mean? Like, I would never once in my life has there been a penalty shootout and I've gone, do you know what? I really fancy that team over that team. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, ever. They said also, like, when people say, "Oh, play for penalties," why on earth would you play for penalties? That's so stupid, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless you're like significantly the worst team, why would you ever play for pens? It's outrageous.
Well, the thing I was thinking, I felt I didn't feel that confident because of how young the team was. That was my only thinking going in. Is like every penalty taker was gonna, apart from Lewis Dunk and
He's
Van
105.
Hetter, maybe even he's still like 24. Was gonna Estepinian. He didn't even get a chance to take one, but like everyone else was gonna be young taking it, and that's where I thought, the experience of them could come into this. And I mean, we started off well with João Pedro's lovely first penalty. Bless. Give me your thoughts on Jack Hinchelwood, though. We've been big fans, and we've stood up for him against Joe. Joe's tirade of Jack Hinchelwood in the past, but he sadly cost us here.
You're not laughing now, are you?
It was a poor penalty. It's a really poor penalty. But again, like you said, experience just got to him, and like the pressure of the game as well. I feel like he didn't see himself throughout the whole game. So I don't know. I wonder if he volunteered to take one or he was picked. I find that quite interesting because obviously some managers let them just put themselves forward, or the manager just picks. So that'd be quite interesting to know because that was a really poor penalty, to be honest. But again, he's a Brighton boy through and through, so we got to stand with him. He's only going to get better from this experience as well. I see Joe throwing his hands in the air.
Yes. Joe's livid that we'll support the local lad.
Hey,
Joe,
lad, how's he going to get better
don't
from
feel the
missing a
same.
penalty?
Say again.
It's not character building, mate. It's just take better penalties, mate. You've side-footed it into literally the perfect place with minimal power, mate. Wrap that, lad. Wrap it into the top bins, mate. Honestly, and also, you're saying about, the manager didn't pick, mate, because the manager's surely not picking Jack Hinchwood.
I think he did.
Yeah, I think he loves him. He absolutely loves him.
I think if you look at Hertz, I think his interview afterwards, I think he said responsibility. I think I read there that he did choose it was his responsibility. They weren't. He did say they weren't bad penalties, just good saves, but I don't know what he was. Yeah,
What was he watching?
Yeah.
at the moment, I don't know, but
I reckon he's just taking the pressure off, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially off Hinchwood and that. Gomez, I don't know what he's trying to do. He's just levered it. He's just mad. Do you know what I mean? But no, I'm going to leave Jack Hinchwood alone. I'll let you continue with what you're saying.
Well, I was gonna say on a positive outlook of Jack Hinchwood, Charlie, isn't it good that we're showing faith in such a young man, and there's so much confidence there for him to even take a penalty?
yeah. I mean, I'm going to probably jump on the Jack Hinchwood bandwagon. I do like him. I think, and it's not just because he's a local. I think he's been ever since he's kind of his, I would say, senior career at Brighton. He's never played really in his position. He's been probably asked the most out of probably a lot of the Brighton players to be basically. He's a temp for any position. We need you at left back. You need you at right back. Probably. Do you know what? If Verbruggen got injured, he's probably going in goal. He's literally that guy. You just pop him anywhere, and he just gets told, if you want to play, you've got to go in this position. He's like, yeah, all right. So he's probably feels like, all right, you need to now take the third penalty, and he's probably got the all right. I think he didn't. He knew it was bad, and I think he could. I do think he only get better. He does score the goals. I mean, he scores them mostly with his head, so that probably doesn't really make sense why he takes a penalty, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually seen him score with his foot.
I don't think I have as well.
I think he scored 3 with his head.
Yeah,
I think his debut one was with his foot, wasn't it? The goal.
Oh no, he drilled one.
Yeah,
he drilled one from the corner
recently.
Bottom corner.
You should try ahead of the pen, just run up.
Yeah, genuinely, just slide into it.
But the penalty. It was all. I think they got the order wrong. I think we should have just thrown all our penalty takers at it. Do you know what? I would have brought James Milner on. He could take the penalty.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is. Just literally, you got the last minute of the extra time. James is going to have a little run, and then kick the ball. Because I just think we got it all wrong. The likes of Estepinian standing there, Adingra. I think Gomez. I probably would have said take a penalty because he's an attacking player. But Hinchwood. I think that was a bad call.
I mean, Hinchwood and Gomez. Well, Hinchwood missed, and then Gomez said, "Hold my beer. I can probably miss a bit worse," and he went on to do so. Which one did you think was worse, Bless?
I think I don't know. They're both really poor, to be honest. I think the Gomez one stuck out for me in particular because I think he changed his mind. Because Sells pointed to the left, and then Gomez sort of looked up at him and then looked back down at the ball. So I think in that moment he's actually changed his mind and going, "Do you know what? Actually, I'm just going to blast this and see what happens." And he
did that all right.
Yeah, smashed it straight at him.
One thing I wanted to ask you though.
Go on.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say. Did we overhype Verbruggen? because
Yes.
the last couple of months I've been very disappointed, to be honest. But I do recall we were saying about keepers outside the top four.
That was me that said
No,
that.
it was you, yeah.
Yeah, it was me that said that, and I am eating some humble pie right now, mate.
Yeah.
Because Matt Sells is literally, I know they're not outside, but like out of like the sort of traditional big, Sells better than him.
Yeah.
So it's just like it. I mean, based off this season, obviously,
Yeah.
but like I don't know. I think he had a run where it was just like quite bad, and then like also the results weren't going very well, so like you can't really cover it up. But then when we went on the run before, like prior to this, where we won however many we run in a row, is that covers up if he does sort of have like a bit iffy performances. I mean, when we beat Chelsea, he's made a mistake at the start of the game. So like, do you know what I mean? So like, it's just, and then obviously the win essentially just covers it up. Really, obviously we spoke about it, but do you know what I mean? But I mean, he is a Ute, isn't he? So he'll be all right eventually. Apparently, Chelsea won him.
Well, I was about to say, apparently Bayern Munich are interested in him. So,
brother.
Also, I think it's in Real Madrid as well.
Badly,
Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Madrid.
I've seen Real Madrid.
Lord.
So maybe we are right. Maybe we are right.
Yeah, maybe I've seen something prior to.
Yeah.
Maybe they've stopped watching.
Oh, brother, they've seen it at the start of the season. They were like, "Yeah, that's decent."
That's
and then
decent.
they realised that he is not the region of Mamo Neuer. I'll tell you that, man. And he's also not Thibaut Courtois either. So
How old is he? He like 21?
he's
I think around 21, 22.
he's
Something
22.
Like that.
Still quite young, to be fair, isn't it?
Very young, yeah. You get a good like 10 plus years out of him if he goes to a club where he wants to stay forever, I guess.
So yeah, that's more the reason we weren't going to win the penalty shootout. Young keeper, young takers, peak. That's never a good recipe.
I've got to give him a shout out to João Pedro though. He running up to Gomez and Hinchelwood after each penalty. I thought that was. I know there's a lot of been like rumours or whatever, like Pedro wants to stay. And it's a fair point. He's been a bit and stuff like that. I think he wants to win things. And I think he was pushing, but I think Minte went down in the extra time. I think with cramp.
Yeah.
And it was just like obviously just stretching Minte out. That sounds really weird to say, but
pause, massive pause. That might be the biggest pause of all time.
Oh, man. We need to have a pause button.
That's crazy.
I think that's the maddest one we've had.
Welcome to the pod.
but yeah, I think I've got to give a shout. That's also another one. Why didn't Minte not take a penalty?
Yeah.
No, I just I just got to give a shout.
Pedro can end up anywhere.
Yeah, but no, I've got to give a shout out to Pedro that he did try and lift their heads up and stuff like that. But I mean, it's very easy to say you've just scored your penalty.
Yeah. He's storming off the pitch if he missed, by the way. Guaranteed. But yeah, like you say, his character has come under question at so many times this season. So it is good to see that he's at least a good teammate to like at people's lowest. But yeah, I think we've covered this game well and truly. We've covered all the pens. We've covered the snore draw. That was 0-0 in about 34 minutes. So I don't know how we've done that. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
And we will be back with more posts. We're back 4 times a week, 3 minimum, but aiming for 4 times a week. Already dropped it.
I did think this was a bad idea to say that.
Tell him that we got another new signing as well. But he's on loan.
Yeah, we got another new signing. Because, like you say, Joe's been scouring the globe for these podcasters. Mate. He's gone to Australia, spoke to a couple kangaroos, met a guy eating a kangaroo, and then grabbed him. And that's who we've got coming up on the
He's just
podcast
offended
later.
every Australian.
But for
person
now,
ever.
that was the review to Brighton, Nottingham Forest. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all, and it's been good to be back. Up the Seagulls.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.